hit that like and subscribe button and turn on that notification bell so you never miss an episode. With that, let's get started. Okay, so our FBI agent, Jack Hensley, continues to search for evidence on his own. He looks everywhere. He looks through the missing persons report on Google, and he tries to find the police files, but he can't, and he doesn't really get anywhere with his investigation. So he calls in reinforcements in the form of his FBI colleagues, Justin, Cameron, and Scott. So they all come down, and they're the top three guys in his unit. So since he headed the unit, the three men under him were Scott, Justin, and Cameron. So he calls them so that they can help him search for evidence. But even with their help, they can't do anything without the files. So the New Springs Police Department was contacted, and he asked them for help. So they decide to let him have the police records, but with when they when he looks to find when the police department looks to find the police records, they can't find them, and so Jack becomes really suspicious of the police department because they don't have their own case that they dealt with. They don't have its files. So Jack goes and decides to look through Dean's family background while his colleagues continue to investigate. So he first visits his mother. Dean's mother is a night nurse. She worked a lot, especially because she is single, like a single mom, because their parents are divorced. So she works really hard to keep food and keep her house. So she lives right in the town of New Springs. She lives in an apartment complex. She has lived in the same one since Dean and his sisters lived with her. So he was able to visit his childhood room for a couple minutes. She showed him around the house. She talked about the family background, really what types of health Dean was in, like stuff like that. And then Jack goes to visit his father. So Dean's father is a lawyer. He's pretty well known. He works a lot. He was busy when Dean was young, and so Dean's father has quite a few suspicions of Jack because he doesn't really want him prying in their family's business, which seems a little interesting and odd to Jack, but he kind of respects his boundaries, and so he moves on. All right. So his sister Shannon, who is 2 years younger than Dean, she was 14 at the time of his disappearance. She is a vet. She owns her own practice in Maine, so a few hours away from New Springs. But she works there. She owns a very, very nice vet. After Dean disappeared, she struggled with depression for a while, but she eventually got through it with her parents' help and a doctor and everything. So she got through that. And then he also visits his youngest sister, Kelly, who was 10 at the time of his disappearance. She is in school to be a nurse at NYU. Um, uh, so she still has connection to the family. Dean's family's complex is very different. Because after he disappeared, the sister kind of his sister Shannon kind of went on to do her own thing. She got married to a guy that has different beliefs in the family, so she doesn't really speak to her family because of her husband and their different beliefs. So,
Okay. His sister Kelly speaks to the family regularly. She is currently unmarried but in a serious relationship with her boyfriend. After Dean's disappearance, the family completely fell apart, which was thought to be one of the reasons Shannon no longer speaks to the family. But it's all due because of her boyfriend's different beliefs. But I also feel like, in a way, that she is using the beliefs as a cover up because she knows that it really affected her, but she didn't want to show it. And she also doesn't want to hurt her boyfriend, who has completely different beliefs. His close relatives that lived in the area at the time of his disappearance have moved away, and many of them have pursued various paths. Jack discovered in each generation of the family, one of the members had some sort of mental health problem, and he believes that Dean could have had one of those feelings for so much that he disappeared, but all of the evidence seems to lead to a murder, not a suicide. After all the digging to the family tree, he doesn't really get anywhere other than the discovery of the mental health issues. He eventually decides to take matters into his own hands and search for the police files so that he can pick up where they left off.
so since he decided to branch out and look for the police files, um, after searching for the family information, uh, he can kind of figure out basically anything. Um, so when he, so when Jack first visits the family, he's expecting a lot more sadness, I guess, over Dean's death, but his family actually seems to be doing just fine. I'm like, it has been 13 years, but you still think that a disappearance would affect someone like that, but they somehow have coped very well with it and it doesn't affect them, which is weird. Um, but they also could suppress the feelings. Um,
I feel like mental health is a big part too.
yeah.
Because, like, I mean, yeah, this is a murder case, but I also feel like, in a way, that his friends, or even the suspects in this case, which some of them were his friends, some of them weren't, um, they may have suspected that he had mental health issues and that he wanted to end it, but he didn't want to be the one to end it and he didn't want to be the one that was found. So instead, he had someone else do it. But I also feel like mental health, in a way, it can affect you like completely, and it can take over you so much to the point where it makes you want to do a suicide attempt. Um, but I also feel like Jack has only found he's dug so deep, and if he can only find the mental health issues, and he has that gene mutation, I feel like if he puts himself into thinking that Dean had the mental health, and he put himself in those shoes of thinking that, then maybe he could see if it was. But then if he takes his way out of that situation, he's like, but it wasn't, and he can relate to all the suspects that are in the case, and he can see maybe they could relate to the mental health issues that we don't know yet, and see if it truly was a mental health disorder that caused him to do this. But if it was mental health, it wouldn't be so many different suspects. But it's also strange because the suspects were the ones who found him in a way, and all these people were related when it came to the party, which is after when he disappeared. So if you think about it, it could be a mental health issue, but I feel like it's more than a mental health issue because there's so many different people involved in this case, and due to that, mental health or a suicide attempt is very hard to do when there's so many people. Because if it was a suicide attempt, I feel like it would just be family that was seen that would see Dean, if it was like that type of suicide, and I don't think anyone would really try to commit suicide in a school building or at a party like that. And he just disappeared. But it was also he wasn't ever found.
Like his
so-
body hasn't been found, he's never been
Right.
recovered. So like unless he ran away and like they have no clue where he is, but his car was found. So he could have hitchhiked, but like they have to be realistic. A 16-year-old kid, sure they can hitchhike, but how far are they gonna get without having any of their like belongings? So like his wallet was found in his car. How is he going to go anywhere without that?
Right.
So like and also if Jack just focuses on the mental health problems, he's kind of missing the whole story because if they just focus on that, they could be like uh not assessing the evidence and like they're not assessing the situation correctly. So who even knows what is going on? So yeah. So we'll see you in the next video.
Bye.
Bye.